What's up, Mike?
Hey, bud.
I can't even look at you. Mike lost his dad. What's going on, buddy?
It was a whirlwind week. It went from married Saturday.
Yeah.
1 week later, I get the phone call from my mom. 1 week to the day.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we were together, I guess at this point, a couple weeks ago in this lounge. Who were we talking to? Where I said, I want to take you out for a bite to eat, but I had something to do, and you said, don't worry about it. I got to go get a suit.
Wasn't it Dr. Ian?
Or was it Kevin Pollak?
It was Kevin Pollak.
I think it was Kevin Pollak. That was the last time I saw you. Okay, so it's been a couple weeks. And I'm in here, and we had a great podcast with Kevin Pollak, and then me and you walked out together, and I was saying, why don't we get a beer or something to drink or something to eat, whatever. And then you were the one that first said, well, actually, I'm really busy. I got to go get a suit. I'm like, oh, okay. And I didn't ask what the suit was for or anything. And then fast forward, I have to find out online that you got married to the lovely Julia.
You texted me, are you married?
Yeah. I was like, what are you... Because we were just hanging out with Kevin Pollak, and then the reason why you were getting a suit was because you were getting married in that suit.
Exactly.
Why didn't you want to tell me?
I'm weird like that. I always feel that, one, it kind of puts you on the spot.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. I didn't tell anyone. Like, people at work, like, you got married? I'm like, yeah. I don't tell anybody.
None of us were invited.
Well, no, it was just a family thing. I'm having a big party in September.
Okay.
That's like the big monster party. We rented out like 2 floors of a bar. This was just, we rented out the back of a bar for just family, like 25 people.
And who married you?
My uncle's an officiant.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it was pretty cool.
So it was just family, basically.
Just family in the wedding party. So it was like, I think, ended up being 19 people or 20 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to find out on social media. I'm like, did you get married? He goes, oh, yeah. I forgot to tell you. That's why I was getting the suit or whatever. But we're getting ready to talk to Chris Algieri, who's from my hometown of Huntington, Long Island. But this is the first time I'm seeing Mike since he got married. And then a mere, how many days later?
It was 7 days. It was actually like exactly 7 days. It was
7 days later, your dad died unexpectedly.
Completely unexpectedly, like not even a whisk of an idea that he was sick.
And what did he die of? Did he have a heart attack?
They actually don't know. What they think happened was he was always like a big motorcycle guy, worked like 3 jobs, always big. In the past maybe 5-6 months, he started losing weight.
Yeah.
And we started calling him out like, hey, you know, you're getting like a little bony. And he was always proud of his body. He's like, I'm just not hungry anymore.
Right.
Thought nothing of it. You know, he's retired now.
Yeah.
So he'll do like some construction jobs, some home improvement jobs here and there. Kept losing weight. He's like, yeah, I'm only eating 1 time a day. No one thought anything of it. Around 2 weeks ago, my mom's like, hey, you're not eating at all now. And he was getting some sores in his mouth. Like a few like pus things in his mouth.
Yeah.
So we thought cancer right away.
Right.
And he's like, listen, after the wedding, I'll get checked out. Which makes you always think that he knew something was going on.
Right.
And he was like shady. He went to the doctor, and the doctor's like, you lost like a ton of weight. He's like, this must be a new scale. My jeans are fitting perfectly.
Yeah.
And he bought smaller jeans. So the wedding's over. You know, we partied like animals. He's hung over for like 2 days. And then like Thursday and Friday, he tells my mom, I can't get off the couch. I'm just dead tired. My mom's like, all right, you're retired. If you want to lay on the couch in the Jersey Shore, you're good. Saturday's like, my legs hurt. And he's a guy who never said he was hurt.
Right.
And he's like, I just don't feel good. I'm going on. I was like, you're dehydrated. Let's do this. And then it was like kind of weird. Finally, she calls me up. She's like, and I didn't talk to him for 2 days, and we talk almost every day. His phone was off, and she's like, he feels so sick. I'm going to take him to the hospital. And she's like, he actually said he'll go to the hospital tonight. So I'm like, that's kind of weird. This is an old school Brooklyn dude, East New York, never goes to the doctor. He's not like that. And then it was around like 9 o'clock. She's like, to my dad, Kev, I'm calling 911. You can't get off the couch. You saying your throat hurts. He's like, yeah, call 911. She calls 911. She's on the phone. Call 911, packing her bag. And she hears, and she looks, and his head was just slumped down, and that was it. It was, she called me up. My phone rings. I'm like, hello? She's like, you got to get down here. Your dad just died. I'm like, Mom, what are you talking about? Because he was never even, you can have that last conversation.
Yeah.
Not even in a million years. If you get named a million people that would die, he was the healthiest guy.
Right.
And just dropped right there when she called 911.
Do you think he was really sick but didn't want to tell you because you were getting married and he was just trying to...
I think he knew. I think he knew, and I'm not one of those people that are like, oh, he knew he had something. Because he's
Right.
like, I promise you, after the wedding, I'll get tested for everything.
Right.
And he kept putting it off. I truly think he knew his mom died of cancer.
Right.
So I think he knew he had cancer or something like that.
That's a tough guy, though, man.
Tough guy. Motorcycle guy, tattooed up.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm telling you, when I was little, he worked 3 jobs.
Right.
You know, to make it not funny, but he had a kid at 13 and a half years old.
What do you mean?
And yeah, my dad was 13 and a half years old, had a kid, then had a kid at 15, and then waited a few years, got divorced, and married my mom. So he got a kid, like, he started working when he was like 13 and a half years old, doing roofing and...
He was a father at 13 and a half the first time?
At 14. He got a pregnant
14.
at 13.
Right. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, so the life lessons he taught me, I always said, like, never sat in a study with me with a glass of wine. He was like, don't be like me.
Right.
Wear a condom. I got a girl pregnant at 13 and a half.
Wow.
Don't be... I'm like, oh, my God. Like,
that's insane.
Yeah, he lived a wild life.
Right. But when you told me, I just assumed, when someone dies unexpectedly, you assume, obviously if it's not a car accident or something, that it's a heart. So
Yeah.
you really don't know
Don't
what he
know.
died from.
Don't know.
Will you guys find out?
No, my mom's like not about it. She's like, she went through such shock.
Yeah.
So I went down there next day.
So it's over.
It's over. The next day, I'm me with my list. I have like, Mom, we have to go here,
Yeah.
here, and here. Like I'm OCD with that stuff. And then finally, the doctor calls up, like, do you want us to do an autopsy? And she's like, I don't. He's dead. He can't come back.
Right.
I'm like, Mom, if you didn't poison him, you
Yeah.
promised me you didn't poison him. We're good.
Have you talked to her about it? Like, did she know that he was pretty sick?
My mom?
Yeah.
No. She knew. Everyone knew he was
That's a
getting
tough
old.
guy.
He was 63. Everyone knew he was getting older.
Yeah.
And Rob, we went to the Hall of Fame, a few months ago, and you look at a picture. He has like his little beer gut, big dude, and then you look at pictures now. You're like, shit, he lost like 30 pounds.
Right.
But his thing was like, I'm working, I'm not eating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we all think he knew, and he was just like, let me man up until after the wedding and see what goes from there.
He just decided that he wasn't going to a doctor no matter what.
No, and he was always like, Heineken guy, big drinker.
Yeah.
And what happened was, like, he stopped drinking for like months.
Right.
Like he would have a beer if we went out to dinner. My wedding, he's like all out drinking Heineken, doing shots, and everyone's like, holy shit, this is the old Kev. He never did. Yeah, he knew. He went out with a bang.
Wow.
Yeah, completely out of nowhere.
So you get married, and then 7 days later, you lose your dad.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
Hanging in there. I think it was more like I kind of had to man up. I went down there. My mom was a hot mess. My whole family
Right.
was a mess. Old school Italian family. We all lived in the same house.
Right.
So it was 4 families in one house.
Yeah.
So I just had to like man up. And he always tells me a story when Thurman Munson died.
Yeah.
He was the biggest Yankee fan. I just want to tell one story about that later. And George Steinbrenner like stepped up when Munson died and started doing stuff. And he always talked about death. He's like, when I die, I need you to be Steinbrenner for me.
Right.
You don't cry until after the funeral. You do what you want.
Right.
Don't ever show weakness. So I had to like kind of man up and do everything.
So he taught you not to show weakness as a dad, huh?
Yeah, he always told me I'm not knocking my other brothers, but he's like, listen, everyone's going to be weak.
Right.
Everyone.
I need you to be
He's
the
like,
one.
you don't cry in front of mommy. You get down there. He's like, and he always talked about death. He's like a morbid dude.
Yeah.
He would tell me like, I will haunt you unless you dress me. This is what he told me. Dress me in jeans, a Yankee jersey, no underwear, socks, and sneakers. That's it. He's like, I don't care. Do not put a suit on me. Like I'd go buy him like $100 T-shirt and he'd cut this like the neck off. He was like old school dude.
Yeah.
And
How did that make you feel that you had to man up?
it was tough. I'm driving down there with Julia, and she's crying like crazy.
Sure.
She doesn't have a dad. She called him dad.
Yeah.
Right.
And I went down there, and then the one good thing, the Jersey Shore Police Department, the Whiting, New Jersey, like he was on the floor, like we gotta take him. And my brother's like, you can't. My brother's a cop. He'd be here. They're like, we can't wait here. We can't wait here. I called him like, you gotta do me a favor. So I came there and it was like 10 people like throwing themselves. So I had to man up. I'm like, all right, everyone, and also I'm kind
Wait,
of
so you got to the house and your dad was still in the house?
laying on the floor.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I had to say goodbye. And you know what? I am kind of desensitized to death to a degree because I've seen it so much on my job.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, holy shit, it's my dad.
Right.
So I kind of had to like, I remember you told me, Dad, I'm not going to, like, meanwhile, my mom's crying, my brother, people throwing themselves on the floor because
Yeah.
it's so unexpected. And I couldn't cry. I was just like, that's it, okay. I made a list. I cried when she went to sleep. I went outside to, her deck. I cried, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
And then in the morning, I came out, we got a list. We got to go to the funeral home. We have to do this, 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 this. And that was it. I had to do everything. So I'm still kind of in shock, but I had to do everything.
Well, as we record this, it's only been 10 days or something like that.
Yeah, it's been 8 days.
8 days.
8 days as we record this.
Right.
It's been like a week or so, and like even the eulogy. Here's how crazy I am. I read the eulogy like 30 times, just so I'm like, it was just words to me.
Right.
Like I flat out read it, like memorized it. It was just words. Then at the end, I was like emotionally drained. Like,
yeah. Wow. Well, the love and support online has been unbelievable.
Incredible. I just want to tell one story about him. You'll love.
Yeah.
So, like I said, never a guy to tell life stories. I'm never a guy to sit down and be like, Mike, do this, do this. He would tell you so raw and real. But I'll tell you my favorite story about him, like the grandiose story. 96, I'm like 15 years old. Yankees win the pennant. And, we grew up pretty poor. He's like, hey, I'm going to go get tickets to the World Series. I'm going to go sleep outside Yankee Stadium. I tweeted this once. And we go back home to Staten Island. He slept outside for 2 days at Yankee Stadium. Comes home, he's like, I couldn't get tickets. I'm like, all right. He was like on the couch. I never saw my dad dejected. He was like so upset. He was home for like 10 minutes. He's about to change a channel and it says, still tickets available. Gets back in his car, drives back to the Bronx, sleeps outside again, and gets tickets to Game 6, 96 on my birthday.
Wow.
So we sat there. I always say the greatest moment of my life. So him and I sat there at Yankee Stadium on my birthday when they won the World Series. That's always like the grandiose story I always tell them.
Right.
Yeah,
That's a great story.
Yeah, it's like my grandiose thing I always tell everybody about him.
And everyone's giving you advice about losing a parent, right?
Oh, it's great. You know what? I didn't tell anybody.
They mean well.
Everyone means well. They're great.
I had a couple conversations with Mike off mic.
Yeah.
Because some of these people, they mean well, but they're saying stuff that I just don't think is right.
Yeah, I didn't tell anyone. Like I only told one person at work, my boss. I'm like, hey, I kind of need beringement leave.
Yeah.
And then I didn't even tell you, and you're like, hey, you want a podcast? I'm like,
Yeah.
My dad. So you said it on the podcast, which I'm so grateful for. You such nice things. And then my DMs, because they're open, get like 100. But some people are like, you'll never get over this. Your life will never be the same. Just stay strong. Right. I'm like, thank you. Like everyone's being overly nice with their...
Yeah, everyone's being cool, but death affects all of us very differently. But I really believe that... I mean, the advice I give people is you can't give anyone advice. You just got to tell them to hang in there, and that better days are ahead of you, and eventually it does become something else. Like when I think of my dad, I mean, it's been many years, but surely, I mean, maybe a year after his death, I started smiling when I thought of him. You know what I mean? And it became just another thing. And I feel like I still have conversations with my dad because if I'm going through something tough in my life, I know exactly what my dad's going to say. So I kind of like talk to him in that way, knowing how he's going to answer this question that I have for him. And I don't know. I don't know. What do you say? It's just so fucking tragic. Like I said on the podcast, it's like life just knows how to kick you in the fucking teeth, man.
Yeah, it was nuts because like I dropped my suit off at the dry cleaners.
Yeah.
And that morning I picked it back up.
Yeah.
My mom's like, you got to get down here. I'm like, and it was the only suit that was clean.
Right.
So I'm wearing the same suit I got married in because it was like the only suit. All my other suits were dirty.
Right.
And I'm like, holy shit. 1 week ago, we're partying and to the minute, like 11 o'clock, the wedding ended.
Yeah.
And I was down there. But you know what stuck in my mind the most? You said on a podcast when your father passed, you looked at him, but it was just a body. He wasn't there.
Yeah.
And I didn't comprehend that. I saw my dad there, and they're going crazy. I looked down. I'm like, that's not my dad. Like,
no, he's
it
gone.
was weird. Like he was gone in a different place.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at the body. It was a weird thing.
Whatever you believe. I mean,
whatever.
If you believe, you just shut off like a computer, like a lot of people think, or that your soul goes somewhere else. But I mean, it was in my case, it was just a vessel.
Yeah.
It was my dad's vessel.
Yeah.
I had no attachment to his actual body after he died. So.
And the thing he said about, obviously, it sucks. The Yankees lost the other day. I want to call him up.
Yeah.
I call after every game we talk. So that's a weird part. But right now I'm in the phase of like I kind of celebrate his life. There was nothing he wanted to do. He wasn't a traveler. He wasn't this. He just wanted to sit home, watch the game. That was it. So it wasn't like, oh shit, I wish my dad could have gone to Asia. I wish my dad. He did it all. He wanted to do.
He lived his life how he wanted it.
Exactly.
Wanted to.
And he prepared you to be able to live yours.
Exactly.
What you just told us all about how you took control because he prepped you for that, right? And that's that's something that it certainly as much as we kind of rag you on your OCD with this show, it pays off, right?
Yeah.
You're very organized. You wouldn't have gotten as far as you would with your job had you not had those skills, and you can attribute that all the way back to your old man.
Yeah.
The funny thing with the job, and I know we're going on a little bit, is I was like 19 years old. He's like, what do you want to do with your life? What are you going to do? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, listen, go take some city jobs. And he was so honest. He's like, I don't see a big future for you besides a city job. He's like, I'm not knocking you. You're not a money guy. You're not that smart. You need a city job.
You're not that smart.
Yeah, he would tell me. He would be like, listen, your brother's a smart kid. You're not that smart. That's what he would tell me. He goes, you have to study to do stuff. You're not that smart.
You're kind of. I mean, I don't know you. I don't know you as well as your dad obviously did, but I think you're a smart guy.
I thought so too.
I really do think you're a smart guy.
But do you think that motivated you, or had you always been a reader?
No, I was always a little bit of a reader. But I remember I'm like, so I take all the police, the fire tests, and I'm like, listen, I'm gonna have the summer of Mike, like the summer of George. I'm gonna live down the Jersey Shore and party. And the police academy called it 20. He's like, you going in it? I'm like, no. He's like, he didn't even like cops.
Yeah.
He's like, you need a city job. Go transfer over. Get a job right now. So I hated it. I'm like, oh, but I did it, and now I can retire in 2.5 years.
Right.
So like everything he told me to do worked out for me.
Sure.
Like from the condoms all the way down to city jobs. He gave me life lessons in his way. So it's kind of hard to. I'm sad, but.
What a man.
Yeah, solid dude.
Probably
man.
had cancer and didn't want to tell
Wouldn't tell anybody.
Guys.
Wouldn't tell anybody.
Wow.
Yeah, wouldn't tell anybody. Like no one even knew like half the stuff.
It was almost like he knew. Okay, Mike got married.
Mm-hmm.
I could go.
Well, I'll tell you the last thing.
Yeah.
He lost one son, so there's 3 of us left. Me, my brother, and my half brother. My one full brother deals with addiction. He's clean now though, finally. And like just a few days ago, he got like I can't really say what he got because it's his job. But he got a great letter that he's fine. My other brother's fine. So at the first time I got married, he saw everything he needed to see.
Yeah.
And that was it. And that's the truth.
Sure.
Yeah. It was. He definitely had everyone, like even the doctors, like, yeah, it was cancer. He wouldn't tell anybody. Like, she was like, I don't know how he lost all that weight, sores in his mouth, but wouldn't tell anybody. And that was it. We went out.
So he might have went and saw a doctor, and the doctor basically said, you got a year, buddy.
I truly think he knew.
Right.
Because he was always like, I'm going to go to the doctors. I'll a random checkup. I think he always knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Because get checked out. He's like, soon. He put it off too much.
Right.
Not to have known.
Wow. But the love and support, I mean, it was really great to see.
Overwhelming, inspirational. So many people I spoke to. I wrote back to every single person who wrote to me online.
Yeah.
Everyone. Even if it was just in a mention or a DM.
Yeah.
And everyone wrote back like and tell me their story. And it was like a good support network.
Right.
Because like, hey, my dad's sick. My dad, and it was good support to talk to people right when it happened.
It's so weird when this happens to you. You truly feel like this has never happened to anyone else. And you're like, oh, that's right. We all deal with this, not to,
I went to the supermarket.
make light of this.
No, I went to the supermarket and we were checking out my mom.
Yeah.
The next morning.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm like, Mom, we need food for the house. People are
Yeah.
going to come over. We need to have some fruit, and the lady's like, hi, I hope you guys are having a great day. And we got in the car and I'm like how you don't comprehend that life goes on for everyone around you.
Nobody else knows the news.
No one else.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, hi, great day. I'm like, yeah. You have the best day of your life or something. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
We got in the car. My mom just was a puddle, just crumbles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you die and this earth just keeps on spinning.
No one
and-
gives a
And
shit.
people will be on the beach on those beautiful sunny days, and they'll be going to Yankee Stadium and bitching about the Knicks and right. That's what's so scary about it. But I want to thank the Facebook group, OpieRadio Podcast. I told them I did a post and whatever, man. I'm a different person, like it or not. Some people get so frustrated that I've changed, but whatever. I started this Facebook group, OpieRadio Podcast, and I really wanted for them to have this group. So I was really letting them, control it and decide what this thing was going to be. And I posted this. I said, I really respect all you guys because you chose, love over hate. Mm-hmm. And I said that after seeing all the incredible posts that went toward you. They don't know you that well. They know you from this podcast a little bit, but they felt like they really, truly had to reach out. So we have a really nice group of people that listen to this podcast.
And remember, I'm not even on Facebook. So
Right.
they don't know, half those people on Facebook, I know
Yeah.
who they were. So nice. I actually signed on under Julia's name and read all of them. I'm like, it was overwhelming,
hundreds
man.
and hundreds of them, man.
And then my DMs, people I were like, don't follow me. Were like, hey, just heard you. Joey put you in the description. just want to send, and it wasn't like sorry. It was like a long message. It was, I'm telling you, overwhelming. It helped more than they would ever know.
Yeah, Mike, I'm really sorry.
I appreciate it.
Really sorry.
Well, my penance,
yeah.
because I feel really bad. So when I heard, Joey called me up as he was putting the show together. He goes, "You need to hear about this."
Yeah.
Right. So then I reached out to you, and then so my penance. Because I feel horrible because the show right before that is where we ripped you.
I know.
So I'm
Calling
gonna
me a creep.
I'm gonna let you guys do the rest of the show, and I'm gonna step.
Oh
out.
yeah, we got to get ready for Chris Algieri from Huntington, Long Island. But that's really funny because we gave you a beating because we were so mad you didn't invite us to your wedding, and then I didn't. At the end
How
of the podcast,
selfish are we?
It's called. It was the episode called La Cubana in the kitchen. And at the end, I just, said I got bad news about, Mike and his father died unexpectedly. Then I handed in the podcast to Joey and Robert and everybody else. I didn't tell them. So they as they're putting that podcast together, they're hearing it cold, like, what the fuck? You're not going to tell us about this? I got to hear it on the raw audio of the podcast?
So yesterday, I get it. I'm flying back from Texas, and my brother or Sabian goes, "Do you know Mike's dad died?
Yeah.
We got to do something." Like I told you this.
Got to do
I
something.
walked down the hall.
Yeah, it's a little too late now, Tim. There's nothing you can do now.
Well, he reached out, and
Yes,
I
everyone
know.
did.
I know.
Everyone did.
Tim, I'm just with a very good group of people around here. So, all right, Mike. Really, really sorry, and I hope your mom's doing better.
She's hanging in there.
Hanging in there. All right.
Let's get Chris in here. Have some fun.
Yeah. So when we get back in a minute or two here, we'll talk to Chris Algieri, who has a giant fight coming up within a day or two. He's fighting Madison Square Garden. He's fighting Coyle, right?
Tommy Coyle.
Tommy Coyle. And if he wins this fight, he might have another chance at a title. We'll be back, me and Mike, because Robert has to go do other things. And we'll be talking to Chris Algieri.
OpieRadio.
I'm not going very far. I'm in a rush. It's too uncomfortable. Sometimes I just forget.
Don't kid yourself. There's no such thing as a good excuse for not buckling up. If you've used any of these excuses or any others, you're putting yourself at risk of injury or death. In 2017, more than 10,000 people were unbuckled when they were killed in crashes. That's 51% of people killed in motor vehicle crashes that were not wearing seatbelts. No matter what kind of vehicle you drive, wearing your seatbelt is the best defense in a crash. Even when you sit in the back seat, you still need to buckle up. That goes for when you ride in taxis and use ride-sharing services too. Cops are on the lookout and writing tickets, so why take the risk? In 2017 alone, seatbelts saved nearly 15,000 lives. So do the smart thing and buckle up every trip, day or night. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
OpieRadio.
What the fuck?
The OpieRadio podcast.
What the fuck is he talking about?
I'm confused.
No, I make fun.
What's going on, everybody? It's time for another OpieRadio podcast. Live from the Westwood One Lounge in New York City, in the heart of Times Square. You like that radio voice, bro? I'm getting a thumbs up from my radio voice. All right. Hey. That makes a little boy feel good. I'm going to be talking to another Huntington, Long Island guy. I'm from Huntington, Long Island. Who else is from Huntington, Long Island? Mariah Carey? Who else? Jerry Cooney? Who else is from Huntington, Long Island? Greg Opie Hughes? Do you know that? You don't know that, do you? Oh, he doesn't know that. One of Chris Algieri's buddies over there doesn't know that I'm from Huntington, Long Island. And I used to be pretty famous, motherfucker. Who are you? Come on over here. Did Chris go to the bathroom? I think Chris Algieri went to the bathroom. I'm very excited to talk to him today. But how do you know Chris Algieri, man? He's your uncle?
Yeah.
Are you serious? So you're a Huntington, Long Island kid too?
Definitely am, yeah.
Really? Did you ever hear of Opie? From Opie and Anthony?
I have not. I wasn't really into radio shows, though.
Oh, that's okay. Well, how old are you?
I just turned 18.
Oh, my God. You're so young,
Yeah,
man.
that's what I'm saying.
There's no way you would know me. My heyday, I got fired in let's see, 2002. So you were
Just
1 year
born.
old when I got fired from
Yeah, I
the
was
big
just
radio
born,
gig.
yeah.
And then I've been trying to like climb to the top again ever since. And I was on satellite radio for 14 years. So, what's your name, bro?
My name's Mike.
What's up, Mike? I know Chris Algieri went to the bathroom, so I'm talking to you. And he's your uncle?
Yeah, that's my uncle.
Very, very cool. You're proud of him?
Of course.
He's got a hell of a record, man.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's fighting Tommy Coyle, Madison Square Garden on June 1st.
Yep, definitely gonna be there.
Are you a boxer yourself?
I'm just getting into it myself. Yeah.
You're just getting into it,
Yeah.
really? You're gonna follow in his footsteps? You would like
Maybe.
to?
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. All right. That's very, very cool, man. Chris Algieri, how are you, buddy? What's going on, man?
Sir.
How are you?
Really good. Really good.
Goddamn good-looking guy.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. You my nephew here, Michael?
Yeah, Michael's cool, man. He said he's gonna follow in your footsteps, and he's starting to box, right?
Yeah, he's getting that going. He's pretty damn good already, honestly.
Really? Oh, he was downplayed. He's like, I'm just getting started.
I mean, he is, but that's kind of a testament to the sport more than anything. It's just
Yeah.
it takes a lot of time and a lot of work. But
Right.
he was in the gym today, and one of my coaches was like, "Wow, your nephew actually looks like he's pretty good." I'm like, "Nah, he's good. You can take him to a gym, and he can do anything that needs to be done."
That is pretty cool, man. I was asking him if he knew who I was, and it turns out he's 18. So I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God. When I had my heyday in radio, he was like 1 year old when I got fired.
Yeah, I was trying to explain to him earlier, but yeah.
Yeah, you're a Huntington, Long Island guy, right?
Yeah, apparently you're a Huntington guy too. Dude.
What high school?
St. Anthony's.
St. Anthony's.
I would have been
okay.
Harborfields, yeah.
You would have been Harborfields.
Yep.
That's where I went.
No shit.
Yeah, it would have been me, you, and Mariah Carey.
That's right.
How cool would that have been?
That would be cool.
Mariah Carey hung out with my younger brothers.
Okay.
And she used to be a cashier at, I think it was called King Cullen next to Dairy Barn.
Yeah.
And she was a
I remember-
cashier
I remember
there.
that King Cullen.
Yeah, do you?
That's funny. That Dairy Barn's still there.
I know it is. I like going in there for my lemonade every once in a while
That's
when
it.
I'm letting things go when I'm not trying to take care of things. And then Mariah Carey would just kind of be singing on the back of the bus, and people thought she was kind of a weirdo. And now look,
Now look at her.
she's one of the biggest artists of all time, and she knows my brother Breton. My brother is Breton Quinn pretty well. So
That's pretty cool.
yeah,
That's pretty cool.
So
She's a huge star.
yes, she is. So how are you, man?
I'm great.
Yeah?
I'm great. Yeah. Got having some fun. Happy to be here.
Right.
It's good stuff.
You're fighting Tommy Coyle, Madison Square Garden, June 1st. So how's the training going?
Really well.
Yeah?
Really well. Yeah. Very happy with the way camp has been going. We're right there. It's next week.
It's upon us.
Yeah.
And you're ready to rock.
Ready to rock. Well, I'm at the point where it's just like, all right, cool. Training, like we're still going hard. We still got a little bit more work to do, but
Yeah.
I'm ready to go out there and show.
Yeah. Is St. Anthony's an all-boys school?
It is not. No.
Was it back in the day?
It used to be what was it? Holy Family. Right.
Oh, it's Holy Family. Right? Yeah, man.
Yep.
The religious people in my town, they were trying to get me into that old boys thing. I'm like, I ain't doing that.
Yeah, because
I'll do a little more religion for you, but I'm not going to school with just boys.
Yeah, I agree. I
Sorry.
agree.
I mean, I know we want to talk about boxing and other things, but I'm obsessing by the fact that you're from Long Island. So you got a hell of a story, man. You were 20-0. You won your first 20 fights.
Yep.
And then you retire for a little while, and now you're coming back. Like, why did you decide to come back?
I never really decided to retire.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I had some injuries to deal with. I had knee surgery after my last fight before taking that time off.
Right.
And then I had some like legal issues with contract stuff with promoters, kind of the way like the music industry has. Like,
Okay.
Like they, their managers and
Yeah.
and record labels give them trouble. Boxers have a very similar thing.
Have they cleaned up the sport a little bit?
No.
It's still the same nightmare that it was?
I mean, it's probably not as bad as like throwing fights and like the mafia and the Raging Bull, terror,
Right.
type stuff. But no, it's still a very rough business, and I say it's the best sport in the world, worst business.
Yeah, I'm kind of. I mean, I'm going to say this. I'm kind of friends with Mike Tyson. I've had him on many times over the years, and he hates Don King, and he
Yeah.
tells his Don King stories. Like one time, they were driving, I forget where, and he pulled the car over and punched Don King in the face and told him to walk and all this. So then I asked Don King about this because he was on the show. He
Yeah.
goes, "Yep, every word of it's true," and he's kind of like proud that that fighters hate him.
He is that guy. Like he made him. Like he owned it. He
Right.
owned being that guy, and it's like. pretty much every promoter who does something shitty, it's like, oh, he's Don Kinging you, or
Yeah.
and I think Don relishes in that.
And I think he's killed 2 people, right, Mike?
That's the rumor, Ope.
What do you mean the rumor?
Allegedly.
What do you mean allegedly?
I don't know if that's a rumor, dude.
I'm not going on record with
I
that.
think he got away with 2 murders, not 1, but 2.
All right, Ray Lewis got away with 1. Who cares?
And he is so full of life. When Don King walks into a room, you know, he's the life of the party,
Yeah.
and everybody wants to talk to him, and he's just smiling at everybody as he's taking money out of your back pocket. Like Chris knows that. Chris knows. I love it.
But also, like you said, like even Mike though, Mike comes into a room and he has an aura about
yeah.
him. He's got an energy and a life force that is.
Yeah.
He's a special human. He really is.
He's intense, man, when
Yeah.
you first meet him. So.
Yes.
Did you read his book?
I didn't know.
Do you know that it got so bad that he was at the grocery store with his girlfriend at the time, and they didn't know how they were going to pay for the groceries? That he lost it all to the
Oh,
point.
this was like as he was already.
Yes.
being a champ.
Oh,
Like,
after all that.
Oh shit.
And then he had the drug abuse and the cocaine and all that. And it got so bad, his bottom was pretty much they were in a grocery store trying to get groceries, and he didn't know how he was going to pay for them.
Wow.
That is a true story. It's in his book.
Undisputed, I believe.
Yeah.
crazy.
One of the most amazing autobiographies ever.
Ever. He was so honest.
So honest and so open. The amount of cocaine that guy was doing, I don't know how he was winning any fights.
Cocaine. I mean, cocaine's a hell of a drug. But there's a lot of fighters in history that have been involved with cocaine and been able to compete. you know?
But to train and all that,
I mean, it is an upper.
yeah, that's true.
It is an upper.
Until you're completely addicted and you're not sleeping anymore, and then
Yeah,
you know
that's
everything goes by the wayside. Could you imagine what kind of record Tyson would have had if he wasn't an addict?
I mean, his record was amazing anyway. But
Right.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I honestly, in terms of his physical talents and gifts
Yeah.
and training, he could have been the best ever.
And so why did you get into boxing? What was your motivation back in the day?
I grew up watching it. It's the first sport I ever remember watching on TV. My mother was born in Argentina, so we lived with our grandparents from Argentina, my grandparents from Argentina, and that's what we watched.
Right.
We grew up watching Friday Night Fights on ESPN and Tuesday Night Fights back then.
Right.
And he spoke about fighters and champions like they were gods among men.
Yeah.
And to me, he was my hero, and he's talking about these guys like they're his heroes. So
Right.
it's just, I was like, all right, I want to be the best.
And how old were you when you got the bug to be a fighter?
I couldn't really.
Because I also know
12 or 13.
12 or 13. You were.
I went to a live fight, and then I was like, I'm doing this.
Wow, really?
Oh, yeah.
So they just took you to a live fight, and then
I went with my dad. I didn't even go.
Do you remember what fight it was?
It was actually kickboxing.
Yeah, because I know you were a great kickboxer as well, and you blew off that sport because there was simply no money in it. I think you retired undefeated, right?
Yeah.
20-0.
20-0, 2-time world champion.
So you decided to be a kickboxer first.
Yeah, so I started out in martial arts.
Yeah.
So I was a martial artist on Long Island. There's not a lot of boxing gyms on Long Island.
No, not really.
Especially, 20 years ago.
We got a lot of hot yoga places, pure yoga, the fancy schmancy stuff.
Got that.
And then every once in a while you find a gym with one, heavy bag.
Hanging in the lonely in the corner with dust on it.
It's all dust.
Yeah. It's different now. There's definitely a lot more gyms, a lot more fighters, but
Yeah, that's good to know. Really
and it was
good to
before
know.
the advent of MMA too, so there wasn't any kind of like striking or fighting.
Yeah.
So I got into martial arts first. I played every sport in the book. I just never really liked the whole team idea. It was kind of chewing on my glove in the outfield, like
Right.
would rather sit on the bench in basketball, that kind of thing.
So baseball bored you to death, and so did basketball. Basketball
Yeah.
was my sport growing up.
Football too. I did it all. Soccer. All
You
of them.
did all of them, were you starting to think maybe sports isn't for me before you got bit by the boxing thing?
Somewhat, because my brother was a really good athlete.
Yeah.
Really good athlete, and I was always in his shadow in terms of being able. He was a really good baseball player and really good swimmer. And I swam, and I was actually pretty good, but I paled in comparison to him.
Yeah.
He was a state level guy, like at 12.
Wow.
And I think I made it to states once.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So I was just like I was trying to look for my route. And so I found martial arts, which he wasn't doing, and he was already in high school at that time. And my dad and I grew up watching a lot of kung fu movies, so that's kind of
Nice.
like how I got into the martial arts, and I fell in love with that right away.
Yeah.
And that was my thing, and that was what I was going to go with. And then we were doing we did katas and forms and point fighting and things like that. I liked fighting. I didn't like doing the forms and the katas and the moves. I wanted to punch people. And then we had kickboxers, professional fight, full contact kickboxers in our gym. And they had a show, and I remember vividly looking at these fight posters and being like, that guy trains here. Like, I see that guy.
Wow.
He's right there, and he's on a poster
Yeah.
in the gym all the time. It's always there. I've been looking at this every day.
Right.
So then we went to go watch them fight, and I mean, I went there, and the energy in the room, and looking at the ring and the lights, and these guys coming out with their hoods on, and their robes, gloves taped up, and I was like, I want to do that.
Right on.
And
man.
my dad was just like, we got to talk to your mom.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, yeah. So that took a little bit of time, but I had my first fight when I was 15.
So what did she say at first?
Hell no.
Yeah, because I grew up in a family where we weren't allowed to play football.
Yeah.
So then my brother played lacrosse and broke his neck.
Yep. Oh fuck.
He's fine today, but yeah, the story goes he was in a tournament in Virginia, and after the game where he got hit in the back of the neck, he went out partying with his buddies from Harborfields High School.
There we go.
There was a guy.
Those damn Harborfield kids.
There was a guy in the tournament playing. I forgot what team at this point. And they all got together after the game, and he had this horrendous headache and neck ache. And he got up the next morning. He's like, "Man, something's not right." Went to the hospital. The doctor walks in the room with his X-ray and goes, "Scott, don't fucking move." And he basically told him, he goes, "I'm looking at an X-ray. I would swear this guy's paralyzed."
Wow.
And my brother is totally fine today, unless, with the rain and stuff, maybe he gets a neck
Right.
ache. But besides that, he's good.
That's
but I'll never
crazy.
forget, Scott told me the doctor walked in and said, "Don't move at all."
So was the lesson not party with the Harborfields guys, or party with them? Maybe it's good luck.
But my point is that my mom was scared because we were all athletes. My sport was basketball, and my brother Scott really wanted to play football. And, our family was no football. So it sounds like your mom was sort of like that at first.
100% that way. Yeah, yeah. She was definitely
how
trying
did-
to protect her babies, kind of thing.
So how'd you convince her that this is what you want to do?
Persistence. That's just all I wanted to do. I just kept pushing it, and then it got to the point where my sensei, who I never called sensei, just called him Bob, but he I was good.
Yeah.
I could fight, and he talked to my mom one day. He's like, this, trust me, he'll be fine. Like, he's good at this, and like, I'm gonna take care of him.
Right.
And she trusted him. She did. She sought him out, or sought the right kind of teacher before bringing me to my first martial arts class when
Yeah.
I was 9, and she really liked this man, and she trusted him, and that was it.
Where was it?
Sports Plus in Lake Grove,
Sports Plus, Lake Grove. Okay.
Long Island East.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
right by
yeah.
right next to the mall.
Yeah, right
It's not
on.
there anymore. It's I think it's a
And
Planet Fitness or something.
and how old were you for your first kickboxing fight?
15.
15 years old.
15 years old. Yeah.
Do you remember like it was yesterday?
Vividly. Yeah. I have it on tape too, VHS.
And did he knock him out?
I did not. So, funny story. I fight this guy who was supposed to be one win with 3 losses, which we were still worried about because he had 4 fights, and it was my first fight.
Yeah.
And he was like 17 or 18, and when you're 15, like that's a lot.
Yeah, no kidding.
So we're like, all right, cool, whatever, we'll fight this guy. And then, so I make the weight. My first time having to do that for kickboxing. I was wrestling at the time too, so I knew about that stuff. But then I see the guy, and he's got like an entourage with him, and a couple belts, like a few of them. Like his friends were holding the belts.
Oh my! And this is your first
First fight. We found out the guy had like 12 or 13 fights, multiple regional titles.
Oh my God!
So we fight. And we fight a 3-rounder, and I win.
Right.
And it was a scrap,
Right.
like a real scrap. Like it was a tough fight, and just like I ended up winning and outworking him, and he was all pissed. He's like, "What? Gotta come back and fight again." There were no titles on the line, so he didn't lose any of his titles because it was my first fight. We ended up fighting again a couple fights later in a 4-rounder for a title fight, and I beat him again.
Nice.
But yeah, that was my first go. It was a rough entry into the fight sports.
Do you know what that guy's doing now?
He lives in California, and I think he's like surfing and teaching martial arts.
You showed him a different way of life, I think. And then you quickly just you won the title, and you won 20 fights in a row. Were you fighting all over the world,
Yeah.
all over the world? All over the world.
I fought people from every corner of this world. I fought
Really?
guys from Mongolia. I fought guys from Russia, South America. I mean, you name it. I fought guys from all over.
No kidding.
And kickboxing was cool. It afforded me that opportunity to travel and see the world.
Right.
I just did a show at MSG 150, and they're like, "You don't have an accent at all." And I was like, "Yeah, Thanks.
Yeah.
But they're like, you're from Long Island. Like, you don't have an accent. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, but I've been around a lot,
Right.
traveled a lot, and I think you kind of lose it. Like, you don't have a New York, Long
Oh
Island
my
accent.
God, I had to like train to
Yeah.
get rid of it.
Yeah.
Our accent is
It's thick.
brutal.
It's thick.
It is rough.
I was told today, I don't know how true this is. I don't know the validity of it, but they were
Yeah.
saying that it was voted the worst accent in like the continental United States. Long Island accent, which I'm like, shit.
It's pretty rough, man. But I lived in Boston. That accent.
I think that's way. I would think that would be worse.
Yeah, and then I lived in Western New York, and they're really nasally. And then my wife's from Philly, so the Philly accent that one is fun.
Yeah, I like that.
That one's fun.
That's a cool
man.
one. That's actually
so
a cool one.
I picked up a little of all the areas I lived in. Where was the toughest? What was the toughest fight in kickboxing in the world?
Man, so my last kickboxing fight, the
Really?
very last one, yeah, it was for the ISK welterweight title. ISK is the International Sport Karate Association, which is like, if you know martial arts and you know kickboxing, that's the world champion. If you're the ISK world champion, you're the champion of the world.
Wow.
So I had always said as a kid, I was like, I need to have that belt. Like
Yeah.
I had won another belt in a different weight class from a different organization. I was like, it meant a lot to me, but like this is the one that I need. And I had to fight a guy from South Africa, and he was brutally strong. Older guy. He was like 40, 41. I was 23. But he could punch like a goddamn mule kick. And he had a right hand, and that was the punch that like that's what he did. He would take any kind of punishment you give him. You just wanted to land that and knock you out with that. So we trained the entire camp. It was a 10-round fight. We trained the entire camp not to get hit by that damn right hand. So going well, first couple rounds, no problem. Staying away from the right hand. He was a shorter guy, using my reach, peppering him, tagging him up, really actually ripping into him. And then I kept seeing his right hand. I got no problem. Whoop, roll underneath it. Boom, roll underneath it. No problem. Hit him. Boom, boom, boom. Then I roll under one, and then that was it. I don't remember anything until almost till the fight's over. And so what happened was the right hand didn't hit me. I went under it, and then he threw a kick, and the knee hit me. The ref didn't see it; thought it was the punch. The knee was illegal, but hit me dead on my chin. Wow! And I only know this because I saw it on video afterwards. I crumbled just crumbled to the ground like a puddle. Like my chin landed on my foot.
Yeah.
That's how much my body just like shut off, and I dropped as if like my head just was unattached to the rest of my body and fell flat, like literally in a like a crab.
Wow.
And
You were knocked out.
out.
But-
And I
So how were you able to continue?
So
Sorry,
from-
I know you're going to tell me, but
from watching the video,
Yeah.
I'm I'm on one knee and one glove, and I'm blinking, and then I look up, and the ref is counting in my face, which is customary.
Yeah.
Gives you an 8 count. Luckily, he didn't just wave it off because I
Sure.
was a puddle. And then I remember kind of like, I'm here, and I'm like, and he was at 7 already, and I'm like, shit, I'm like that's not a lot of time. So I'm like, I don't know if I can get up, because if I get up and I stumble, they're gonna stop it.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like taking my time. I'm staying down. 8, 9 comes, and I'm like, all right, this is my last chance. So I push off my glove, and I push up, and I stand up, and I'm now standing erect. And I'm like, okay. And the ref then signals you to walk forward because they want to see if you can step or walk. And then I'm like, this is gonna be the end, because I can't. I don't feel my legs. I don't feel anything.
this is Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah. I'm a dead body. Exactly.
So you're standing there going,
Can't do it.
you're sort of coming back
Mm-hmm.
into your surroundings, but you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, I'm aware enough to know if I step forward right now, this could be really bad.
Yep.
No kidding.
And it's funny how getting knocked out works, because it is kind of like you come back in sections.
Yeah.
So I was good from like my chin up. Everything else, I don't know what it was doing. I could have been dancing for all I knew. I couldn't feel it. So the ref gives me that wave forward, and I'm like, here we go. And I'm gonna take a step, and I take this step, and I kind of did like a, kind of lean forward.
Yeah.
And then what the ref does is customary if the fight goes on, is he rubs the gloves off on his shirt, just in case you got anything from the floor on your gloves, and when you punch a guy, it's getting his eye.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh shit, we're still gonna fight. Oh wow. Next thing I know, the guy's on me. Boom,
Right. 'Cause he
he's
knows.
trying to knock me out. Right. So and then I was just on autopilot. I don't remember for the next couple rounds kind of what was going on. I was just fighting. I was just scrapping. It was so piecemeal at this point. I don't really remember what was going on. And then it goes to the distance. We go to the end of the fight, and I'm so nervous, and I'm like pacing, And my trainer's grabbing my wrist. Same guy that let me fight when I was 15. I'm now 23 years later. Grabs my wrist and he pulls me over, and he's known me since I was 9. Chrissy, relax. What's the problem? I don't know if I won that. And he looks me incredulously in my face, and he's just like, the fuck are you talking about? You won every second of that fight. We got it, baby. Don't worry.
Right.
And I'm like, because I didn't remember those rounds. I got dropped in the 5th. Woke up in like the 9th.
Oh my God!
So
really?
like I'm like I don't know how those rounds went. I watched a video. I beat the balls off of this guy. Like I mean pillar to post.
So when you watch it, is it just brand new to you the first time you see
100%,
it?
100%.
You're almost not sure what you're gonna do next.
I was scared watching it
Yeah.
because like I'd never seen it before. I didn't know what was gonna happen.
That's
So I'm watching it
crazy.
I'm watching it like a fan. Like I
Right.
don't know what's and then
Is that all your training at that point? Because subconsciously you're sort of not there,
I
but
think
all
it's
the
a lot
training you put in,
a lot
you're-
of muscle memory. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of muscle memory, and that's kind of why we train the way we train, and that's why we put ourselves through such, like, really, really tough situations in training camp.
Yeah.
So when it comes to it, it's like, all right, it's just we're used to this. Your body's
Right.
used to it.
And when you get almost knocked out, let's call it an almost knockout, do you feel very...
Oh, no, I got knocked out. I don't care.
Okay, you got knocked out and you were able to,
Yeah.
like you walked us through. Okay.
Right.
But do you get almost super focused at that point?
Yeah.
As far as, you don't know what's going on with your body and all that, but subconsciously or something, you're like super focused on this guy and what needs to be done?
That happens even when you get hit really clean. Like if you get clocked and you get like a micro knockout, like ooh, okay, wow. Because there's so many different things that can happen when you get hit. Like, you get the lights, the flash, this. Like,
Yeah.
Sometimes things move differently. So like whenever that kind of thing happens, you're like, ooh, okay, and then you're like, all right, now I got to really hone in. Don't let this guy touch me again.
Yeah.
Because there is a lag time when you get hit and hurt. If you get hit again immediately after, it can hurt you more. So
Right.
like you really got to be careful right after you get touched.
Now you got knocked out during that kickboxing fight, but you won it. How
Yep.
many times have you been knocked out?
I've been knocked down, especially in kickboxing, a whole bunch of times. Like I dropped a bunch of times. Both my world title fights, I got dropped. Kickboxing is a little different. The kickboxing is like the Wild West. I don't. When I watch my kickboxing fights now, I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Does it scare you a little bit now
Yeah.
that you're a bit older?
I'm like, I can't believe I used to fight like that.
Right.
Especially with kicks. Kicks are brutal.
Right.
Kicks are brutal.
Yeah.
So, a little different. Boxing is a much finer sport.
So that was your last kickboxing fight, and you decided I just don't want to do this anymore because there was no money in it, or you were just done.
That was my goal. My goal was that belt.
So after that, you're like, what else is
did
there to
it.
accomplish?
I did it. There's no money.
Right.
And I had fractured my elbow in training camp for that fight, and I
Yeah.
hurt my knee in the fight. So I'm like, I'm paying medical bills that are costing more than the purse from the fight.
Sure.
I got this really sweet belt. I accomplished a life goal. Awesome. But
Right.
there's no reason.
And you were already boxing on the side, right?
I was so the thing about being a world-class kickboxer from Long Island is you're not going to find a lot of other world-class kickboxers to train with.
Right.
So I was boxing guys. So when I was kickboxing, I was boxing. I was going to boxing gym. I was going to Gleason's in Brooklyn.
Right.
And I was sparring boxing to get ready for my kickboxing fights without kicking.
Right.
So, and I had a lot of those coaches being like, man, you got a lot of boxer in you. Like, you're a kickboxer and whatnot, but like, you're probably pretty good at this. You should do the gloves.
Wow.
So, but I couldn't go amateur again. I was just like,
And you were only 23, did you say?
Yeah.
So then you became a professional boxer right away, or did you take time off?
No, my last kickboxing fight was, I think, November 30th of 2006, and then I fought 2007, April 2007, my pro debut boxing.
Right. Oh, okay. So you took a little time
Yeah, a
to
couple months.
figure it out. That was it. And you were 20-0 in kickboxing.
Yeah, and then went right to boxing. And then I made it to 20-0 as a boxer.
No, I know you did. I think you've only lost 2 or 3 fights, right?
3, yep.
3 fights. Wow. That is unbelievable.
And his 3 fights are to 2 Hall of Famers.
Oh, I know. Pacquiao and Spencer Jr., right?
Errol Spence and Amir
Errol
Khan.
Spencer and Khan, right.
Khan's going to be in the Hall of Fame, too, though. I mean, he's a multiple-time world champion. And
How was it fighting Pacquiao? We had him on the show once, which was so weird because he doesn't speak English. So it was like, what are we doing? Because
I remember that episode.
I saw his documentary where he talked about like living in trees and didn't know what a TV was. Did you see that documentary?
Of course.
He came down from like the hills and saw a TV for the first time and almost freaked out. And I'm like, and so I mean, it's an amazing documentary. But then I want to try to talk to the guy, and he doesn't speak English.
you're not going to get a whole lot out of that, yeah.
But how was it fighting him, man?
I mean, he's everything that they say.
Right.
He's a living legend. He's not a Hall of Famer. He's a legend.
Yeah.
And he's alive, and he's still doing it. And he's still beating top guys.
Right.
He's just a super special individual, and he's one of the best that's ever done it and ever put on the gloves.
Were you freaked out when you were fighting him?
No, I wasn't.
I know you're famous. Don't get me wrong, but all of us have our limits.
Yeah.
Where now you're looking at Pacquiao, going, "Wow, this guy's really fucking famous."
Yeah, no, it was funny. I didn't realize how famous he was until that whole experience. But I was so dialed in to I'm fighting this man, not this legend. I'm fighting a man. He's just a man, and he had already been knocked out by Marquez. So I'm like, I had that in the forefront of my mind, maybe as a mental, psychological ploy to myself to be like, hey, he's a man. He's got 2 hands. He's got 2 feet. He can get knocked out. So I just that whole experience, I just thought about it. I was just hyper focused in and dialed in on like I got to beat this man.
Yeah. How old were you for that?
I was 30.
30. So 5 years ago.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Weren't you
2014.
injured? Weren't you injured for that fight?
I had broken my orbital in the fight prior to that.
Oh my god.
So I had won the title in June of the same year.
Yeah.
And I fought Pacquiao in November, and I had a broken orbital in the June fight.
Was that scary?
Yeah.
Here's the picture. My God.
You know what the scariest point was when you said it was that scary? Yeah, it's a gnarly.
Oh my. That's what that looks like when you.
He won he's the winner in that fight.
I got the belt around my waist in that photo. I'm in an ambulance on the way to the hospital.
A broken orbital and you won that fight.
Happened in the first round too.
Did it hurt?
Bad.
Really?
Really bad.
Was that your worst injury?
Yeah. That's probably the most painful thing I've ever dealt with in my life.
How are you still so good looking?
Yeah.
It's funny. I forget which eye it was sometimes. It's
Really?
Yeah, it was this one. But yeah, I have no residual problem.
What kind of headaches does that give you?
So the really messed up thing about it was like, because when your orbital's fractured, it doesn't just swell out. That swelling's going that way too, back into your skull.
Back into the skull.
So the headaches I had were piercing. Piercing. And that lasted, I had double vision for about a month.
Really?
Yeah. But they told me that was just because the orbital floor fracture was actually nicking my one of my orbit muscles that pulls in the eye, and it's just kind of. But that was really scary in the emergency room, and I love the bedside manner of the physician who was looking at my eye, and they were using these clamps to open that thing up because it was so shut, which hurt a lot. And they had to keep drops. They keep going. And they made me do an eye test with these clamps holding open my eye. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm doing this eye test, and I was like, like 2090 or whatever. And he's like,
You're 22,000?
And he's like, yeah, that might come back.
Might.
Just like that. Like, no big deal. Yeah, that may or may not return. May or may not is what he said.
You kind of need your vision for your profession, and he's just casually saying that.
I lost it.
Of course.
Lost it. And I didn't lose it like I was upset. I lost it on the doctor. I'm like, are you fucking kidding? What do you mean might?
Right.
And he said it like that, and everybody's like, yeah, relax. Don't get the pressure
Right.
up. It's like just the way he said it. He just no bedside manner at all.
And you're punching the wall thinking it's him.
But luckily it came back. I got no vision problems at all.
How long were you out with
I had
that?
a black eye for like 2 months.
Oh,
And it would come back. Like I'd wake up from a night of sleep and I'd have a black eye like randomly out of nowhere.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
unbelievable,
Very,
man.
very strange. Yeah.
I've never seen that picture before.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's gnarly.
Where did you fight Pacquiao?
In Macau, China.
No kidding. How's
Yeah.
China? Did you
Po-
get to see it
populated.
at all, or were you?
Populated. Yeah, I did. We did a whole.
No, you know what I mean. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of times you guys go in and you're so focused on the fight, you really can't, get out and see things.
100%. Well, the good thing is we did a 7-city press tour 2
Oh,
months before the
wow.
bout, right? So we went all over. Like we did New York City, San Francisco, LA, Vegas, Shanghai, Hong Kong, and then Macau.
Yeah.
It was sick.
And what's your thoughts on China?
If I don't return, I'm okay.
What didn't you like about it then?
It's
Is the air as bad as they say?
Yes, worse. It's bad. It's really, really bad. And the pollution is so thick that it makes it hotter. Like it's just humid and just dirty.
And
The
people
people were great. Like my interaction with the people was awesome.
Yeah.
And they brought me to like gyms in the countries, and like I got to talk to kids and like sign auto. Like that was great. And the people were great, but just I don't know. There's so many other places in the world that I'd rather.
Do the kids seem happy?
Oh, 100%. Yes.
Isn't that strange when you
So
see
happy.
that?
So happy.
Because we just assume, like, everyone, if they don't live like Americans, that they got to be miserable.
I thought everybody was happy, not even just the kids. It's just everybody was
Everyone
happy.
was just content.
My experience with everyone that I spoke to was they were very up, very positive.
Right.
Very, very positive.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Was Pacquiao cool to you?
Super cool.
Yeah.
Super cool. His whole team was.
Right.
Consummate professionals.
Isn't he in politics now?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think he's doing actually good things, and he should be. I mean, he's a good man, and he cares about his people. And Filipinos in general are some of the nicest people in the absolute world.
Yeah.
And he's that. It was weird because I was like, he's too nice.
Right.
This isn't genuine. This guy's trying to. It's a ruse.
Yeah.
No, it's 100% the case because I've seen him since.
You know about politics in the Philippines, though, right? They like to take out their politicians a lot.
They're not taking out Manny.
Well, I'm hoping not.
They're not taking out. He's Mike Tyson plus Michael Jackson plus
Plus the Beatles, plus
Obama.
everything. Yeah.
He's everything. He's
Yeah.
everything. He's everything.
For that whole area.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what he does? You probably saw the training. When he trains,
Yeah.
he trains in the gym, and the poor people line up for miles,
Yep.
and he comes out and hands them money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, legitimately, they walk up, and he hands everybody a certain amount of money, and then sometimes he's like, I ran out of money. Go to the bank, get more money for these people. When he trains in the Philippines,
Yeah.
people line up for miles,
Mm-hmm.
for hours and hours, and he hands them money.
And what is he in a car just slowly?
No,
going
no,
by?
no. They're online. He's going running, and he'll hand off. He has a stack of money.
That's a tough run, though.
Yeah, no, he'll hand him, and then but all the kids run behind him. Yeah, it's
Right.
wild. He gives money
How
out.
much does he give out? Do you know?
No.
Has it ever been said?
It has to be millions. It has to be.
He gives out a lot of money.
Yeah. I liked him. I just wish I could have had an actual conversation with the
Yeah.
guy. But anyway.
He would, yeah, that would be really cool, really interesting to hear what he
Yeah.
has to say. Especially like he's done with so much. Like now that he's in politics, and
Right.
apparently he's good.
Yeah. So you won your first 20 in a row, and then you lost 3, right? And you won a couple more in there, I think.
Yeah,
No?
it was kind of mixed up.
Yeah,
I lost 2 in a row, then I came back with a win, then I lost 1, then I'm 2 in a row.
And then did you decide you wanted to retire at that point?
No, so I had a knee injury in that last fight before my 2 years off. So
Yeah.
I had surgery on that a couple days after the fight, and then I had some, like I said, I had some contractual issues. Then I was in court for about 18 months, battling over through contracts and I was trying to get out of the contract that I was in. There was some wonky stuff going on.
Oh, that sucks. That's
Yeah.
your prime too, man.
Yeah, I know. It was a really tough time for me.
Right.
It's emotionally, psychologically, a lot of inner turmoil.
And how did it all work out? Did you guys settle? I honestly don't know this part of your career.
It came down to it was like we were going into this court case, and more as we got closer, my legal team was like, yeah, it could go this way, it could go that way. I'm like, well, dude, I'm paying you like a lot of money, and this is my life, and like we could go into this and then end up exactly where we are now.
Right.
And I just spent $100,000 to get from A to A.
Right.
And it was just like, and they're like, kind of thing, and like that's you never know. You
That's
never know.
unbelievable.
So I was just like, you know what? Let's just strike a deal that everybody's happy with, and I need to get back in.
Right.
It was too long. I definitely needed some time. So like I needed some time off to have my knee get back.
Right.
I needed mentally to kind of get over everything that was going on with my career at that point. So some time off was good, but it was too much.
All right, you answered my question because I was going to ask you if it was driving you nuts that you had to sit out that long, but
I was in a deep depression,
you were.
really bad.
So how'd you get out of it?
I that part of it was making the moves to get this thing done. Like I hit my low, around that time.
Could you walk us through that a little bit? Because a lot of people suffer through depression.
Yeah.
So what was your depression? Like you were so frustrated you couldn't fight, and you were you laying around? Were you acting out? What was your deal?
I really I couldn't do what I knew I should have been doing. Like Mike actually asked me on his podcast, like, well, dude, why are you coming back? Why are you fighting? Like you have all these other great things going on. I'm like,
Yeah.
Because this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Like right now. Like, and I know my window's closing.
Right.
This is the time for me to do. Like you said, my prime is closing.
Yeah.
As a professional athlete, we have a very small window to do what we have to do, and I knew it was wasting it. And wasted potential and wasted talent is nothing worse than that. And I knew I had it, and I knew I still needed to be there, and it just other forces were keeping me out.
Right.
So I mean, what could feel worse than that?
Were you just
when you're-
were you just wandering around the Walt Whitman Mall?
I
just went local for everybody.
I didn't leave my room a lot.
You didn't?
Yeah, my nephews be like, "Yo, why does Uncle Chris come upstairs?" I just stayed home. I stayed in my room, stayed home. drinking more than I needed to.
Yeah.
You know, I like to drink, and I was drinking a lot. I was drinking a lot, and not even so much as like by myself, but I was going out and like I was still having fun. Like you wouldn't be able to tell like I was wrong. I was still, but yeah, just not started. I started picking up habits to deal with stress that weren't healthy at all. You know, and like that was really when I was like, all right, something's up.
Could you mention one of the habits?
Well, like I said, like the drinking.
Like
I
the
would,
drinking,
I'd be late
okay.
at night drinking to be like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'd wake up the next day and be hungover and then just go like sweat.
Yeah, but a hangover doesn't go well with depression.
No.
Because even when you feel like your mind's okay, you drink too much, that next day you feel a little down,
You're
down and
But
depressed.
that's when then I'd work out, and working out would make me feel better.
Oh, okay.
So it was like the cycle of like, at night drink, stay up late, not
Yeah.
sleep really well. I didn't sleep for, like I didn't sleep for like 7 months.
Wow.
Because I was up just thinking,
Yeah.
up thinking. So just all that together coincided with just being in the dumps, man.
And then as soon as the court case was settled, did it instantly go away, the depression?
I made steps before that.
Yeah.
I spoke to a professional, a guy I used to train, and he was a psychologist, and we used to swap because when my fight career really picked up, like I got really heady, and I was like, man, this is intense. These fights are getting big, and this is a big deal. And like after fights, I was depressed, and I'd go and I'd just hide out, and I wouldn't want to see anybody or be around anybody. And then he's like, listen, man, the bigger these fights get, the harder that's going to be. Like it would be good for you to talk to someone about it. And so we actually swapped. I used to train him like boxing.
Yeah.
And he would sit down with me for 45 minutes and talk.
Oh, cool.
So we traded off that way, and that was
barter action.
Yeah, we bartered psychotherapy and fitness training.
Punches to the face.
And
It kind of worked.
Which a lot of it's kind of the same
yeah,
thing.
of course it is.
So then I reached out to him again. I'm like, hey man, I got some other issues going on. Like, can we like talk about that? I'm like, I'm not training people. I'll pay you. So and then we did that, and that was really helpful. Like
Yeah.
really helpful for me to kind of like really soundboard. Like I knew what I needed to do. But like if you don't have any checks and balances, you
Did
let
any
go.
childhood stuff pop up during that period?
No, my childhood was pretty
good?
Yeah, it's pretty good. My family's super tight.
Right.
That wasn't an issue.
Nice, good.
We had some like current affairs, issues to deal with and things like that.
Right.
But that was just more stress. But that's life.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna.
Now, how long ago was that?
About 2 years ago.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the timeline. So, and then you, did you come back? The first fight was at the Paramount?
Yeah.
That place rules, man.
It really does. It really
That
does.
is such a cool
Fought
place.
there 9 times.
For the people, what?
9 times. I
You fought there
Main
9
event
times?
9 times.
For kickboxing
Boxing,
or
all
all boxing over the years?
Sold it out 9 times.
9 times. The Paramount, for the people that don't know, it's an unbelievable venue in the heart of Huntington, the village. My brother has a restaurant right next to it, F.H. Riley's.
Yeah.
That's my brother's joint.
All right.
Go in and say hi.
I will.
And the Paramount, I think it wins awards and all sorts of things,
All the time.
man.
They have huge acts there.
Yeah.
Huge acts.
Yeah, Jim Brewer, one of my friends,
Yeah.
he does a residency there. I saw Stone Temple Pilots.
Yep.
Me and Billy Joel were in the VIP section because he went with his daughter, and I got to hang out and drink wine with Billy Joel one night as we're watching STP. I'm like, this is weird.
Some Long Island legends hanging out drinking wine.
Yeah, okay. But walk me through the Paramount. So that was your first fight back.
Yeah, so we
Pretty
did
much
that by
in your
design.
hometown, man.
Well, it's my backyard. We
Yeah.
did that by design. Like I could have fought on other cards. I could have fought on the undercard of some big whatever, and like a
Right.
comeback fight. I'm like, no, I'm going back to where this all started.
Yeah.
I'm a grassroots guy.
Right.
My career was not. I wasn't like signed out of the Olympics to a major promotional company to signing bonuses. None of that. I had none of that. I literally had to sell tickets.
Right.
To my fights and come watch me fight this weekend and fight and win and work my way up. So like for my comeback, it just felt right to go back there.
Right.
And I was telling Mike in his podcast, fighting there, because it is a music venue,
Yeah.
the acoustics in there are crazy.
They're awesome.
So when you're walking through the tunnel to walk to the ring, when they call your name, it is deafening.
Right.
And the place shakes by the rafters when
Yeah.
I fight. So that was another reason I wanted to be there, because it's so intense. I remember the first time I fought in the Barclays, walking out and being like, oh, Paramount's more intense than this.
Right.
As weird as that sounds. You
No
know?
kidding.
Yeah, because those big venues are so open.
Right.
And Paramount's so intimate.
Oh yeah,
so
man.
tight.
Everyone's right on top of you, man.
Yeah, you're looking at your cousin, your best friend.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone you grew up with.
Your ex girlfriends. That like you see these people as you're walking by. It's like, ugh.
Are you
know?
sitting there before the fight going, man, this is going to suck if I lose? My first grade teacher's there. Everyone I know and love.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's every fight though. It's every fight.
Of course.
It's every
Of
fight.
course.
You're in the spotlight. You're in the eye.
Wasn't that recent? Wasn't that
It was just
November?
this past November, yeah.
And that was your first fight back.
Yeah. This is my third fight coming up in 7 months.
What are you, crazy?
Yep.
That's obviously still unusual, right, in boxing? To have
that's
3 fights in 7 months?
That's a busy schedule, yeah. But I got ground makeup. I was out for 2.5 years.
Right.
You know, and like I honestly and I wanted to hit the ground running and be like, I'll figure it out in the ring.
Yeah.
Like I always did. Like my first 2 fights, like I had abbreviated camps. They were very short. Like I had like 4 or 5 weeks each fight.
Wow.
For 10-round fights, and I'm just, whatever, boom. You know, like I'll figure it out there. Like we'll get the kind of guys where I can work it out in the ring. I'll
Yeah.
get the rounds in, and we'll go on.
Right.
That's it.
And that leads to Madison Square Garden, June 1st, right around the corner with Tommy Coyle, right?
That's right.
What do you think? What are you feeling?
I'm feeling really good about this.
Because if you win this fight, then you'll probably get another chance at a title, right?
The title shot is looming. You know, it's right around the corner. There's a lot of talk about it. You know, it actually, as soon as my first fight back, everyone's like, "Wow, you look really good. Like, let's get this kid back in a title fight." I was like, "Whoa,
Slow down, right?
pump the brakes. Let me get a couple fights
Yeah.
under my belt." But yeah, no, it's gonna happen. I mean, once you've done it before, people know your name, and I'm in a very quote unquote young weight class. A lot of the guys, like, there's a lot of studs in the weight class, and they're champs that are there, but they're not very well known.
Yeah.
They're young guys.
Right.
So I'm the veteran. I'm the old guy on the block.
At 35?
35.
Isn't that unbelievable?
I'm the old vet.
And it's Madison Square Garden. Did you ever fight there?
Not in the big room. This is the big room.
No kidding. What's your
yeah.
thoughts on that?
It's huge. It's huge.
Look at the smile on his face.
He's fighting at the Mecca, and it's Anthony Joshua's coming to
Yeah,
America
yeah.
tour. So this is the fight at the
Yes.
Mecca.
Huge.
Yeah, everyone's going to that fight.
Everyone.
That's unbelievable.
It's funny. My coaches are like, "Man, this is what you do, man.
Right.
You step up where the big fights are. So
Right.
this is the bigger the better."
And how many more fights you think? What's your plan, man?
Honestly, Opie, I could be done already.
Right.
If I wake up tomorrow and I don't want to do it, and I don't want to fight you, I won't fight.
You just needed to get back after that lull because you weren't leaving on your terms. You were
Right.
you were just sitting there like, what the f is going on?
That too, but like, and I've always said it. Like, I don't need to fight.
Right.
I don't have to at all. I mean, I've got a lot of other things going on.
You're
you know,
satisfied inside. You did it.
That's most important. Is I'm satisfied with my career.
Right.
As I've already what I've already accomplished.
Yeah.
And one day I'll look back on it and I'll look on it fondly. And
Yeah.
I want to leave the sport that way too. I don't want to look back and have bitterness.
And you got into nutrition, didn't you?
Yeah, I've been.
You're like you got a book and everything? Fighter's Kitchen. Nice.
book and everything.
Chris Algieri, 100 muscle-building, fat-burning recipes with meal plans to sculpt your warrior body. That's awesome. I'm going to take this home, man.
Look like a fighter without getting hit.
That's a beautiful book.
Thank you.
So is that going to be your next career? Are you going to go into that more of a? I know you're you're a commentator as well, and
I've been commentating quite a bit the past couple of years. I really enjoy that. It's cool to be still in the sport.
Yeah.
But this is my passion. I went to school. I have a master's degree in clinical nutrition. I have a certificate in sports nutrition. I work with other athletes. I've worked with myself.
Right.
My own body has been my experiment.
Right.
Throughout my entire career, my entire life, and now I'm able to combine that experience at a top level athletics with my education.
Yeah.
And put stuff out that can help people. I wish I had something like this when I was
Yeah,
coming
no
up.
kidding. So how do you make a living off this? Obviously, the book will sell well, or
Yeah.
has been.
I mean, how does any author make a living? They sell a lot of books.
So you would like to just write more books?
I'd like to write more
this?
books. My retirement plan is actually I want to be a teacher. I want to be a
Oh, no kidding.
professor. Yeah, I want to go back to school. I liked school.
Right.
I was good at school. I like school. I like academia. I like being around that. I like a lot of my friend group and my peer group are they're PhDs and doctors out of South Florida, and
Right.
they work in the same field of exercise physiology, nutrition, biochemistry, things like that.
Yeah.
So for me, I think it would be very satisfying. I like to speak. I like to share knowledge, to be able to teach high-level, mentally
Right.
sharp individuals who want to be professionals.
And I think you've done stuff with Stony Brook, no?
Yeah, so I was the performance nutrition coach there for a while. So I helped actually develop their nutrition program for their athletic department.
Right.
I spent about 2 years there with them. The time when I was off, I
Yeah.
was there. And it wasn't like that kept me out. It just worked out that was the time, and I stopped when I started fighting again.
Gotcha.
So,
Very cool.
But that was a very that was fun.
Now, why not UFC? All these years with the kickboxing and the boxing.
Get asked
You
that all
said,
the time.
I know. I assume you have, and you got the wrestling background. So, why did you never go down that road?
Because when I box, I'm living a childhood dream because I grew up watching fights. I didn't grow up watching UFC. So for me, see, I can't even picture myself in a cage and picture myself because like I didn't picture that as a kid. Like I literally every time I fight on June 1st, like I'm stepping into a ring doing what I wanted to do when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, and like that still resonates with me. That's still important to me. Whereas MMA, that would be a job. And these sports are so dangerous. Boxing ever became a job, I'd be done.
Right.
It's just too dangerous. I don't-
Wait, you as a boxer, you're saying that MMA is so dangerous?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying boxing is dangerous as well, but like to me, it's a passion.
Right.
MMA would not be for me.
I just assume that boxing is way more dangerous because you get so many more head blows. Like in UFC, you know, these fights could end really, really quickly.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that one's more dangerous than the other by any means. I'm just saying that, like, in terms of me taking that risk, I don't. The same reward's not there for me.
Yeah,
you know,
gotcha.
I don't have that like desire.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Because once my desire or my passion for boxing is done, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't have it for MMA, so I would never do it.
Right on, man. What did I miss, Mike? Anything?
No, one thing about the book, Chris knows so much about food. There's keto stuff in here. There's paleo stuff. There's smoothie stuff. So you were looking at one page is all keto. Gives you the calories, the fat, the carbs, protein. So it's 100 days, 100 things. It looks phenomenal. It really does.
It's really it's made to be user friendly. You know,
Yeah.
it's very easy to read. It's all ingredients you can find at a regular grocer. And a lot of these recipes I developed while in hotel rooms during training camps. So they're easy. You don't need a ton of crazy utensils or even skills. I'm not a chef. I'm not a chef. You're like this thing. I have people all the time like, I didn't know you were a chef. I'm like, I'm not. I cook. I like to cook.
So basically, you figured out the stuff that helps your body, you know, that you kind of like eating. You like it could work for other people.
Yep.
Please tell me you figured out tasty healthy.
Tasty healthy, yes.
Because that's the problem with all these diets. Like
Tasty healthy look good.
You eat 10 dry salads, you know, and lose a few pounds, but you're going to go right back to the burgers because you didn't learn anything.
There's burgers in there. Burgers one of my favorite things to eat.
What kind of burgers, though?
Got all kinds of burgers. I got
The
turkey
meatless burgers?
bison burgers, beef burgers. What do you name it?
So how do you keep it healthy?
So all right. So here's something you can actually take with you. You add avocado to your burger. The monounsaturated fats can help with the absorption of the saturated fat of the burger itself.
Right.
Yeah. So you can deal with some of like the negative consequences of eating like a red meat burger
Sure.
by having some healthy fats in there.
And also, don't have 4 burgers in a week.
Well, moderation's always, variety and moderation are the two key words. But yeah.
But, I mean, that's the key. You got to find stuff that you enjoy eating that is healthy. That is so
Exactly.
hard, and most of these diet books don't do that. So I think people should check out the book, man, Fighter's Kitchen.
I think so too. I think a lot of people should check it out.
Dude, I've heard your name forever because of Huntington
Yeah.
and all that, and I can't wait for this fight.
I mean, do you know Jerry Cooney?
Of course.
Okay, so-
he's a friend of mine. We were hoping to get him in today.
Oh, that would have been
But he
awesome.
Because
does
then it
his
would have been a
show
whole
too.
Huntington
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But then he comes in and he punches me a lot. And it's just like, it's annoying because
For
I
everybody
can't
at
do
home,
anything.
he's huge. People don't realize how big he is.
But he means well, and he thinks he's hitting you hard. And you're like, oh,
you
my
light, but
God,
no,
that's
yeah.
going to hurt. I'm going to be bruised again. I just want to say hi to my pal. And he wants to take me to a Knicks game so bad, and I just keep blowing him off, and he gets really mad.
Is he gonna punch your arm the whole night?
He says, Opie's waiting for them to get good. That's what he's waiting for. That's what he keeps saying.
He's such a great guy, though. And,
He is.
man, when I was growing up, he was everything in Huntington.
Yeah, he's the
Everything.
original pride of Huntington.
Yeah, he was a rock star. When there was a Jerry Cooney sighting, you got to remember, back then when you were famous, you were so fucking famous
Yeah.
because we didn't have all these other distractions,
Yeah.
man. And then he was a big partier, and he owned a bar and all that. But he turned it all around and figured it out.
He figured it out.
And now he helps ex boxers.
He's doing great. He's doing so many things. That guy's so busy, man.
Right.
He's every time there's any kind of event or charity event on Long Island, he's there.
Right.
I always see him. Like I don't go to a ton of them, but every time I go, he's there.
Yeah, he has a huge heart.
He does. He
So
does.
one last question: your top 5 fighters
top 5 fighters all
of
time.
all time.
So
Doesn't matter what division.
Sugar Ray Robinson,
Nice,
Muhammad Ali,
of course.
Sugar Ray Leonard.
Nice.
I'm gonna throw one in that people are gonna be like Oscar De La Hoya because I grew up watching him, and even the '90s.
Right
he was
on.
the '90s, man. He was
Yeah.
the '90s, and that guy. And I'm gonna throw in one. We're talking about favorite, not best.
No Tyson, no Foreman.
We're talking about favorite, not best, right?
What about Hagler?
Oh yeah, but I mean, it's tough. It's a really hard. It's a really hard question.
It is a tough question.
Really
That's
hard
why I
question.
asked. Everyone has their top 5.
Right, but I'm asking. We're asking favorite, not best, or we're talking about best.
Well, what did you just give me?
That was my favorite and my best.
All
Well,
right.
no, except for Oscar. Oscar wasn't the best.
Okay.
He's my favorite. So if we were doing favorites, I would do Oscar and I'd do Arturo Gatti
Oh, okay.
because he
right
was just
on.
super fun. But he's
Yeah.
nowhere near the best. If we were talking best, I wouldn't have those two guys yet.
Right.
Trying to think who else.
I hate Arturo Gatti.
You hate him?
You want to hear a story quick?
Yes.
I'm down in Atlantic City. I'm a rookie cop, 21 years old. Arturo Gatti's there.
This is not gonna go well.
oh my God, Arturo Gatti's here. I've never told the story before. I'm like, Arturo Gatti's here.
Yeah.
So I go up to him, I'm like, champ, I'm a huge fan. He's like, oh, all right. I'm like, can I get a picture with you? He's like, yeah, later on. So I go across the street and I buy like a digital camera. And like it's an hour goes by now. And we're off the set, we're off the boardwalk at Atlantic City. So it's a little seedy bar looking for girls. And I go up to him like,
You're not in uniform, right?
no. I'm
Okay,
down,
okay.
no.
You're just hanging out.
Yeah, my Abercrombie spiked hair with tips, 7 different beaded necklaces. And I'm like, Tori, can I get a picture? He's like, no, get out of here, bro. Get out of here. I'm like, Tori. He's like, yo, I said get the fuck out of here.
Wow.
So I'm like, I need to get a quick picture. I'm 21 years old.
You're still trying to get the picture?
Yeah, I'm 21. Oh, look how I harassed you for 12 years. That's why we're hanging out now. So I'm like,
He was a super fan. I met him when he was 15 years old. And fast forward all these years,
Persistence
yeah, exactly,
works.
Chris.
Yeah,
So now I'm like, F it. I went up, put my arm around him. I do like a selfie. I get a picture, and he just snuffs me out of the way. That was it. I walk away.
You're lucky he didn't fucking punch you.
Well, listen what happens, Chris. Around an hour and a half later, I'm in the bathroom, and I'm peeing. And he walks in, and he looks at me, and he pulls his dick. He's like, why don't you take a picture of this? I'm like, no, I'm good. Starts pissing on my leg. Swear on my mother's life.
No!
Dude, he's pissing on my leg. I'm wearing like the Abercrombie shorts. He's pissing on my leg. And like, what am I going to... So I'm standing there and I have to go. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this is really bad. So now I just let it go. I kind of peed my pants because now remember, I'm 21 years old. They were like, bro, you should afford him. I go out and I tell my 2 boys, I'm like, yo, I think Arturo Gatti wants to fight me. They're like, shut up. I'm like, dude, he just pissed over my leg. So he's like, all right. I'm like, he's not going to fight you. So I have my Bud Light bottle. He walks by and smacks the Bud Light bottle out of my hand. Glass breaks. Now a huge circle forms. So my boy's like, dude, we got to go. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, let's get out of here. So I start unbuttoning my shirt. I'm like, you know who I am? Meanwhile, I'm a rookie cop standing on like 42nd Street in Times Square. Who am I? He walks over to me, bitch smacks me in front of like 150 people. And dude, I was bigger than him at the time because he's a small dude.
He's not a big
Bitch
dude at all.
smacks me.
No
my boys, no one has my. Everyone's like, yo!
Oh, shit.
I'm like, and he walks back over and he grabs me by the neck. And then the bouncer came over and like he spit on me, like he spit on like the back of my neck, and they threw us out. Dude, it was the most humiliating. Because how we go back now, I'm with my 2 boys. We go back to like the Taj Mahal, and like, how can he even look at me? I got pee on my leg. He smacked me.
You
Yeah,
got
dude.
spit on your neck.
Yeah, that was horrible. I'll tell you, he's the worst.
Wait, you weren't in uniform?
No, I was down in Jersey Shore just partying. I was a rookie
Holy
cop for maybe
shit.
2 months, so I thought I was like the shit. You know, when you're 21 years
Yeah.
old, I'm like, bro, I'm a cop. Yeah.
Is that where the golden shower fetish started?
A tour guy pees on me now. I'm like, Julia.
Do you know his deal?
No.
It's not a deal. We were talking about fetishes one day.
Yeah.
He kind of likes the golden showers. His nephew
So
okay
you
with
weren't
this?
kidding. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
You weren't kidding.
What?
Fucking golden shower. Oh,
No, they actually pee on each other. Him and his now wife.
nice. Hey, whatever. Fuck it.
What are you gonna do?
So
Yeah, it
were you-
didn't start from a Torgati, but yeah.
But what, did it start before the Gotti?
It was never a thing. It was like she did it one time in the shower. I'm like, oh, that's kind of hot.
But it was before or after him?
Oh, way after. This was 15, 16 years ago.
Oh,
Torgati, yeah.
wow.
So take him off your list.
Wow.
He just peed on your leg.
Dude.
There's nothing you could do.
No, nothing. And like,
you just got to deal with
if there
that.
was enough-
I mean, you would figure out something, Chris, but
if I was a little older.
look at us. We have to just deal with that horse shit.
And he's like, oh, why don't you take a picture of this? And I'm like, I'm good.
He
And
might
dude,
have moved up on my list, actually. That's fucking gangster.
Yeah. And dude, you remember I was
That
wearing.
is gangster. He pulls his dick out.
Yeah, take a
Obviously, you
picture of
didn't
it.
have a cell phone.
No. And he's like, why don't you take a picture of this? Because remember, I just grabbed him for the selfie like
Yeah,
an
yeah,
hour and a
yeah.
half later.
Oh,
now
did he have a
he's drunk.
camera at that point, or was
Yeah, but I wasn't gonna really pull it out because I'm like, no. Now I'm scared because it's just me, him in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Pees on my leg. And you know what? It's going down my leg. It's on my sock. Like now my feet are wet. I'm like,
So I've heard a lot of
Wow.
stories about him, like, being
Yeah.
really, really nasty in
in Atlantic City. That's his
public
home.
situations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
When the bouncer threw me out, you know, I'm like, I apologize. Like, dude, it's not you. It's every night with him. But he's a Torgati.
Right.
He is in Atlantic City. You gotta
Yeah.
get out of here. I'm like, yeah, I understand.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's funny because when I was fighting in the Paramount, I stayed away from Huntington.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hang out in the place that I was known. Yeah. Because of shit like that. Like, yeah,
Right.
You think you're in a place where everyone thinks you're the man. That's not good. That's not good for your head. So I tried to stay away from this.
But also, there's a lot of jealous people around, and
That
they
too.
want to be the one.
Mm-hmm.
I always had to deal with that crap. With
Huntington's
people.
a tough town, man. People fight a lot.
You think?
Yeah. People
See,
people
we have
listening, man. I know.
We
that.
obviously have an age difference. When I was growing up in Huntington, all those restaurants, it was all bars.
All bars. Yep.
And then Huntington said, you know what, we got to stop this. So then they had all the checkpoints on the way out of Huntington. They were pulling over everybody because everyone from all over Long Island came to Huntington to drink.
Yeah.
So then, the word got out. They got roadblocks and they're giving out DWIs DWIs all over the place. And then Huntington had to figure it out. So all those bars are now restaurants. That's why it's a big
very nice
restaurant
restaurants,
town,
yeah,
right?
Very good, very nice restaurants.
And my brother used to fight in that town. Oh, yeah.
If you went to that town, you fought in that town. Everybody fights there.
Yeah, my brother was a rugby player, another brother. I'm one of 7.
Tough guys.
And that sport's all about you.
Rugby's tough.
You play a team during the day, and then you fight them in the bar at night. No joke, Mike. My brother knew how to fight, but then my cousin, I forgot, I think it was Uptown, had to drag him. My brother got knocked out cold, and my cousin had to drag him out of the situation. Yeah, my brother got into some fights. Actually, he's the brother of my family where when he got married, we were like, and started having kids, we were a little relieved because he was getting into
He's
a
off
lot
the streets
of
now.
fights. Then a Wall Street guy. He's a great guy. He truly is. But he loved to fight when he was doing the rugby thing. Chris, we're not gonna beat his peeing story, so I think we should wrap it up.
Yeah,
man.
I agree. You can't beat that at all.
But it was a pleasure to finally meet you and your nephew. And the big fight is right around the corner with
Right here.
Coyle and. Obviously, we're all rooting for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been awesome being here. Thank you so much.
All right, Chris Algieri, excuse me, and I guess that's it. We did it, right, Mike?
We did it.
I didn't miss.
Do we miss anything, Chris? Plug the book. Talked about kickboxing, boxing.
Boxing. We did it.
The orbital fracture, being knocked out in his last kickboxing fight, and he figured it out, got up and
Figure it out.
and beat the guy. So, all right, with that, Joey, wrap it up.
Don't forget to give this podcast 5 stars at Apple Podcasts. Visit OpieRadio.com for some hats, shirts, and other merch. Follow our favorite producer, Mike the Cop, on Twitter at Mike Sappho. Joey Salvia here, saying thanks for listening to Opie Radio.